morning, Florida. This is the Horizon News Network. My name is Tewwg Waffle House, and boy, do we have news for you today. This just in, an enormous hurricane is predicted to hit the Everglades, Florida at any time now. The storm is predicted to cause massive flooding and is predicted to have extremely high wind speeds. Orders of evacuation were issued to people living in the area. However, some chose to stay and undergo the storm. More on this story, we have our very own Tewwg Final live at the scene. Tewwg?
Thanks, guys. Everything is even harsher out here than I suspected. Hurricane winds more than 180 miles per hour. I advise all to stay in their houses till the end of the storm. Sending it back to you.
Well, thank you, Tewwg. Now on to other news. Recently, the Marlins Baseball Club lost at home to the Chicago Cubs, who now have claimed their first win of the season, which is quite a feat, as we are in July. On a different note, the local avocado market has plunged due to the recent spike in garden spiders. And also, in downtown Scranton, Pennsylvania, a semi-truck loaded with upwards of 3,000 gallons of milk crashed, causing huge backups on the roads this morning. And that's all for the news today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tewwg Waffle House, and this is the Horizon News Network. Good luck fishing. Good morning, Floridians, and welcome to the Horizon News Network. My name is Tewwg Waffle House. Do you remember that hurricane that we mentioned weeks ago? Well, it turns out it was quite a doozy. We go live to Tewwg Final at the scene.
Well, as you can see, the hurricane did quite a bit of damage on not only the landscape, but for the people here. For those who chose to ignore the evacuation signals, they underwent huge amounts of flooding and even the destruction of a local dam, causing even more havoc. On another note, based on multiple eyewitness observations, a man was attacked by a dog in an attempt to survive the flooding. This is a prime example of an unbiased, raw power of nature and its destructive tendencies.
That's a symbol.
You never know what's going to come up next with nature. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Tewwg. What a heart-wrenching occurrence. Later, we'll talk more about a personal experience of some of the Everglades residents and the plan to revitalize the lake that overflowed. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, babe.
Hey, babe. Senecoat. Hey, what's this?
Senecot. It's a laxative. I get constipated sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I like Senecot. It uses a natural vegetable laxative ingredient. That matters to me. And it usually works overnight.
Senecot, because ingredients matter.
Welcome back. We now discuss the breaking news regarding the burial of the dead from the recent hurricane that wreaked so much devastation. It is said that both white and black lives were taken by the storm. However, it is not the death of the victims that brings up the most worry. The fact that both groups are buried in separate fashions has created a local movement online. To be specific, the white victims are being buried with ample care and in well-made coffins, while the African American victims are being buried without any respect, simply shoved into the ground.
That's a symbol.
This has caused some social uproar. To support the movement, tweet the hashtag #DeadLivesMatter, as you can see here. On an unrelated note, based on the recent hurricane story regarding the eyewitness account of the rabid dog possibly biting a man on the face, we have decided to devote some time on the show to promote rabies awareness.
That's a symbol.
Although uncommon today, rabies is still prevalent in many animals. This isn't a problem unless animals come in contact with the animals containing the disease. Once infected, the virus funnels into the brain and begins to deteriorate the mental capacity of the victim. Signs of the disease include increased fear of water, frailty, foaming of the mouth, and mental insanity, even leading to death if not treated immediately. This is just another reason not to pet squirrels, folks. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Tewwg Waffle House, and this is the Horizon News Network. Good luck fishing.
the mouth, the bears catch only the tastiest, most tender salmon. Which is exactly what we at John West want. John West endured the worst to bring you the best.
Well, we've got a treat for you all today, folks. We have lens expert Tewwg Cottonflowers coming in to talk about the lenses prevalent at the end of the story we've been talking about all week. So here, welcoming, please welcome Tewwg Cottonflowers. Tewwg, well, thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, no problem.
And sharing your insight. So, please tell us, with your insight on the topic, what are the lenses present in the end of the story?
So, I believe there was a strong racist lens present in the 3 chapters 18, 19, and 20, and throughout the entire novel. Hurston, in recounting the journeys of Janie, a black woman who could not properly done so without also displaying the level of disparity between the way white folks and black folks act in the roles in Southern society.
And so what evidence from the story leads you to this very interesting conclusion?
For instance, on page 189, after Janie was found not guilty to a cold-blooded murder of Tia Cake, she can now hear the black men talking outside. Oh, you know, them white men wouldn't go in to do nothing to no woman that looked like her. She didn't kill no man, did she? Well, long as she did not shoot no man, she gonna kill us, as many blacks as she pleases. Kill up as all these men they want, but the bet no kill one of them. Then white folks will shoot hang if you do. The black folks know where they stand in their society, and as long as who holds the power, the white men.
Wow, it's almost as if the black folks don't know any role other than their degraded one, even if they don't like it.
Absolutely. Additionally, the racist lens is not only applicable in the way black and white society is structured, it also applies to the way black folks who go as the Seminoles. On page 156, black men are talking about the Seminoles who are saying a hurricane is coming, and agree that the Indians do not know much or nothing, or tell the truth. Else they own this country still. The white folks ain't gone nowhere. They ought to know if it's dangerous. First off, the class structure based off race is clearly identified.
Yeah, the black folks really seem to look down upon the wisdom of the Seminoles because the white folks kind of ran them off their land years ago.
Indeed, the black folks are trying to push themselves higher by pushing down on the Seminoles. The black man looks up on the white man while trying to remain in their own eyes. Above the Seminoles, in a self-perpetuation cycle, formed the recent change of slavery. The black folks often regard the white folks as superior to themselves in wisdom, trusting the knowledge of white men over anyone else or their own.
Wow. Well, once again, Tewwg, thanks for joining us today and sharing your insights. And
no problem.
Hope you have a great day, everybody. Yeah. Tewwg Cottonflowers.
Good afternoon and welcome. What?
I say good afternoon and welcome. Can we release the masks? Just take them off. How can we be a secret... How can we be a secret society if we can't keep all of our secrets?
Do they know we faked the moon landing?
No, not yet.
Or that there are only 49 shades of gray?
They're suspicious, but that's not what I'm talking about.
What about Bigfoot?
Bigfoot's not real and everyone knows that.
Did they figure out we deflated the football?
No, we found a fall guy for that one.
Bigfoot's definitely real.
Nope.
We'll just have to agree to disagree.
What about Area 51? Do they know about that?
No.
How about Area 52 to 54?
No, stop saying areas. No areas plus a number.
Literally hundreds of photos of Bigfoot.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him once. Wait, Bigfoot? I'm getting it wrong. Paul Bunyan?
Point is, someone is leaking this stuff.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm not looking at you, Anne.
I've seen his footprint when I was
Scott! What they do know is that avocados from Mexico have good fat.
So they know they're healthy.
They know everything. Kyle, are you streaming this?
Is that not cool?
No, it's not cool. That's what secret means. It's a secret society.
Oh, wow, secret, yep. Hey, I got a like.
You got a like?
That was me.
I like you too.
At least they don't know about subliminal advertising.
That's not even a thing, right?
Eat them!
What the?
Avocados from Mexico.
Welcome back once again, Floridians. Here with us today is Miss Janie Woods, who will share her heartbreaking story of the much-discussed hurricane, including her husband's death, with our very own DeMarcus Shittles.
Thank you, Godric. I'm here today with Miss Janie Woods, longtime searcher of love and belonging, and the little flames hidden inside of clay, who has had a very interesting experience with the hurricane we covered just a few months ago. Welcome, Janie.
Thanks for having me on your little shindig, Mr. Shittles.
So, you were quite near the lake when it broke. That's a symbol.
The water come running all around me. Before I knew what was happening, we were all up in a puny house, smushed together, and we was all praying real good. Through all that commotion, it seemed though everyone seemed to be staring at dark, but their eyes were watching God.
Was there anything else that left an impact on you from the hurricane?
Well, my dearest husband at the time had saved me from drowning by letting me hang on to the rear of a cow, which was a huge relief. This reminded me that temporary blessings have a negative effects later. Unfortunately, he took a good bite from the nasty dog before he could kill it, right on the cheek.
Okay. How would you say it felt at the time?
Me? I was one nervous wreck, worrying for my life, as any woman would in the middle of a hurricane. But soon as we were safe, there were these miserable sullen men who ordered both black and white under guard to go on and keep searching and digging graves. Soon after the burial fiasco, I urged my love to go and get checked by a doc, but he insisted on not going, and he said he was all right.
So Tea-Cake didn't want to be taken care of?
Yes, that is correct. Soon after, he had gotten sick of Palm Beach and decided for both of us to go back to the muck to talk to some old friends.
Well, you sure tried to get him some help. What happened next?
For a while, we couldn't decide what to do or where to go, but eventually we found ourselves heading back to the muck where we had worked before the hurricane. We met up with some old friends, told some exciting stories, but before you knew it, Tea-Cake was showing greater signs of deterioration and illness.
That's a symbol. What a gut-wrenching story so far. Now for a short break. We'll be right back.
I smell something fishy! At the Discount Seafood Warehouse in Boston proper. If our fish wasn't fresh, would I do this? Experience the variety that your whole family has been begging you for. Here at the Discount Seafood Warehouse. Did somebody say clam bake? Clam bake. Did somebody say lobster? Lobster. Did somebody say crab legs? Crabs. If you buy a lobster that's 12 or 13 pounds, you're eligible to get shot by us with your Alka-Seltzer cannon. Hey! Hey! This love's terrific. This love awesome. It's the Discount Seafood Warehouse in Boston proper, Pier 168. You'll know you're there when you start smelling something fishy.
Welcome back to the show. We left off with Janie Woods and her tragic hurricane experience and her explanation of her lover Tea-Cake's illness. Now, Janie, did you at all struggle with his illness?
Why, yes, of course. I kept trying to get a doctor, but he wouldn't let me. Finally, he caved and agreed to see a doctor. The doctor did his best to help Tea-Cake. In reality, it was my fault Tea-Cake died. because by then it was much too late to do anything.
Oh my, how very tragic.
Why, yes, it was a lot to handle. TK had gotten to the point where he became delusional. I had taken note of his behavior and noticed he was hiding a pistol underneath his pillow, leading me to think I'd be in danger.
Whoa, hold on. You mean to tell me that your psychotic husband had a loaded pistol underneath his pillow?
Looking back on the situation, it was a rather bad idea. Because after a while, his conditions got so bad that I didn't know who he was no more. Day by day, he got worse and worse, and eventually, after multiple outbursts, I realized that Tewwg was gone.
And how did you react to this new change?
I was scared. I felt as though he wasn't who I had married. Every trait about him had vanished out of thin sight. What was Tewwg was clutched by the evils of rabies. It wasn't long before Tewwg was having another one of his deranged attacks. However, this time, he picked up the old pistol and began to threaten my life. I never wanted to do it to him. I never intended to be the one to take his life. I can remember grabbing the rifle and trying to persuade him to stop. As things escalated, I had no choice but to shoot him for my own good. And after I did it, I couldn't help but lay with Tewwg, holding him in my arms, and wonder how things could have gone so wrong. For me, it was the meanest moment of eternity.
I understand. And after you shot Tewwg, was there any follow-up trial?
Why, of course there was. It didn't matter that I loved Tewwg and that I never wanted to hurt him. I had murdered a man, and that was all that mattered. Originally, I was in a tight spot because there were colored folks against me because I had killed Tewwg. There were so many against me that a light slap from each and every one of them would have beat me to death. As I looked around the room, I felt them pelting me with dirty thoughts. They were there with their tongues cocked and loaded.
That's a symbol.
The only real weapons left to weak folks. However, it didn't take long for them to realize that I was of no real guilt, and that I had done the deed as an act of mercy for myself and for Tewwg. I was exonerated.
I see your point. Once the trial was over, did you continue life in the muck?
First, I had Tewwg's wonderful funeral.
That's a symbol.
Where I finally said goodbye to the love I had searched for my entire life. Where, before I felt no remorse for Joe Stark's death, at Tewwg's death, I was filled with emotion and was consumed by grief. Afterwards, I decided to stay a few more weeks in the muck and then to come back to the place where I'd always called home. That was Eatonville to me. Tewwg's life was in the Everglades, and mine was in Eatonville.
That must have been a tough transition for you, leaving a life that you sought after for your whole life.
It sure was. I returned to Eatonville in nothing except a ragged pair of overalls and the dust that I carried from the journey. I came home with almost nothing on the outside, but I returned with so much more on the inside than I could ever know. Thanks to Tewwg, my quest for true love was finally complete. I had found a bee for my bud.
That's a symbol.
And now my life has become quite relaxing.
Well, thank you for sharing your mournful story with us on the Horizon News Network. Hey folks, it's DeMarcus Shittles here on the show. stepping in for Godric, who has just suffered a minor stroke. Today's treat, we're going to have a live via Skype to theme expert Theodore Dumpling III. Let's look out to him. Sorry folks, we'll call again.
Hello.
Thanks for Skyping, Mr. Dumpling.
Yeah, sure, no problem. It's just shaving and I threw this robe on.
Oh, perfect. Thanks for that. So the reason for our call this morning is themes, as you are the expert.
Yeah, that I am. So there's a lot of themes going on in the last 3 chapters. All sorts of love stuff to start with. For example, searching for love from others is not enough for peace internally and brings about despair, loathing, loneliness, anger. Instead, love must be found inside of oneself, for oneself, to be complete and long-lasting. So throughout the novel, Janie searches for a bee for her bud, searching for love from external sources, most clearly defined by Jodie Starks and Tea Cake. And although Tea Cake's pure love contrasts with Joe's selfish love, Janie finds herself in despair with both characters. It was Jodie's repression that hurt Janie, but Tea Cake's death hurt her as well, deeply. And it's not until the final page of the novel where Hurston's vivid language depicts Janie's realization of the key to love, love for oneself. So at the end, guy here, hold on one second. Here was peace. She pulled in her horizon like a great fishnet, pulled it from around the waist of the world and draped it over her shoulders. So much of life in its meshes. She called in her soul to come and see. So at the end there, she's finally being able to look internally and love herself inside, and that's the key to true love, based on the theme from these last 3 chapters here.
Quite nice. What are the themes reside in the pages of this beautiful novel?
Yeah, well, we got some nature stuff too, kind of tying into naturalism a little bit. So the last 3 chapters are full of natural phenomena, hurricane, death, and disease. Just to name a few, that apathetically destroy the dreams and efforts of the helpless humans. Janie finally finds true love, who she wants to spend the rest of her life with in Tea Cake, and we're all content as readers, you know, happy for the book to end now with everyone we care about still alive, and those who stood in the way dead. But no, sir, Tea Cake just had to die. Thanks, nature. Well, even when all the controllable aspects are tied up and life is going well, there's give me one second here. There's never present danger that the variable of nature will strike. Humans have no power to control the forces of nature, really.
Wow, another A-worthy analysis there, Mr. Dumpling. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem. Have a nice day. Wow, thanks for having me, guys.
Mr.
I do declare that was one very exciting and touching story. As you continue to go about your life, remember what you have heard these last few weeks on the Horizon News Network and contemplate these deep life questions. What will Janie do next based on her actions and thoughts thus far? What was the most important realization Janie or some other character made? What does Janie do next after the novel ends? What regrets does Janie carry with her, if any? How could Janie have saved Tea Cake? Does Tea Cake deserve to die by dog? Does it seem justified that he dies this way? And why do you think he dies this way? What would you do if a loved one was going to die within a month and you knew it? And would you want someone to save you if you knew that it was eventually going to take their own life? Once again, thank you for spending your time with us on the Horizon News Network. My name is Godric Waffle House, and good luck fishing. Good morning, Floridians. My name is Godric Waffle House.
Frank me in the anus.
Well, thank you.
God, you're hot. I mean, is everyone ready?
Yep, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on 3, okay?
Okay.
1, 2.
Experience with the hurricane we covered a few months ago. Welcome, Janie.
Thanks for having me on your little shindig, Mr. Shittles.
So, you were quite near the lake when...
Shut up, Dimitri. Mr. Shittles. I can't do it.
Mr. Shittles.
Thanks, I have to say it like that.
You have.
Thanks for having me on your little shindig, Mr. Shittles.
Just change the wording.
God
No,
damn
it's
it.
so funny.
No. You gotta scroll it up.
Thank you, Godric. I am here today with Miss Janie Woods, longtime searcher of love and belonging, and the little flames hidden inside of clay, who has just had a very interesting experience with the hurricane we covered just a few months ago. Welcome, Janie.
Come on, Isaac.
Okay, it's gone.
Thank you, Godric. I am here today with Miss Janie Woods, longtime searcher of love and belonging, with the little hidden flames of clay, who has...
Little flames of clay.
Thank you, Godric. I am here today with Miss Janie Woods, longtime searcher of love.
What? That's a little guy? Little fella? Yeah, go on.
Save the bugs.
I'm just like thinking about this mustache and how I look right now. Like, man. Thank you, Godric. I'm here today with Miss Janie Woods, longtime searcher of love and belonging, with and the little flames inside.
We started off so strong.
I have it.
Okay,
Like,
the hurricane we covered just a few months ago. Welcome, Janie.
the bug is back.
You're gonna blame it on the bug, aren't you?
I was laughing at the bug.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on your little shindig, Mr. Shittles.
You were so close.
Thanks for having me on your little shindig, Mr. Shittles.
So, you were quite near the lake when it broke.
God damn it, Jamie.
Stop! It's not my fault. Ah!
Okay. Thank you, Godric. I'm here today with Miss Janie Woods, longtime searcher of love and belonging, and the little flames hidden inside of clay. Who has had
Stop.
Hey.
It's not even funny.
Come on, man. Pull yourself together.
I have osteoporosis.
Stay.
Shittles.
So, you were quite near the lake when it broke. Okay, we're starting from here.
From my drowning, but let me shit. Ah.
Start from the bottom.
Well, my dearest dad. Not funny, not funny.
No!
Cut. Well, my dearest husband at the time had saved me from drowning by letting me hang on to the rear of a cow. By holding on to his anus?
No, we can't do this.
Cut. Middle of a hurricane.
And once the hurricane was over?
Oh, Lord have mercy! I felt as if I had been cleansed. All about everything was destroyed, as I felt... shit.
Let's start right here.
Cut.
Start with the all.
This is gonna be like 30 takes. All about everything after... This is gonna be horrible.
Mile 9.
Just go from mile 9. Cut.
Cut. Start over. Time out. Technical. Where we had worked before the hurricane. We met up with some old friends, told some exciting stories, but before... stories? God.
You were good, you were good.
Cut.
I just want to make sure it's still running. It's not. Yeah, you're still good. 4 minutes.
Timmy, have mercy. You're gonna have to dig through all this. This is gonna be all different sections.
Whatever. No, he'll just look at it and then cut.
Oh, true.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
For a while, we could.
Through last 3 chapters here. Yeah, we got some nature stuff going on too, kind of tying into naturalism. So like the cut. Damn it.
You want me to cut it or no?
Yeah. Sure.
It looks like you're sweating profusely. Okay.
Cut. We'll do it like mid pour. Okay.
Okay,
Is it going?
I'm gonna let it roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got some nature stuff going on here too, tying into naturalism a little bit. Well. Don't wait.
Every time we take a bite.
Use the banana. Use the banana.
Hold on.
You got through the first part good.
Yeah, you were doing so good.
Okay. Yeah, we got all sorts of nature stuff too, kind of tying into naturalism. The last 3 chapters are full of natural phenomenons, hurricane, death, and disease. All that apathetically destroy the dreams and efforts of helpless humans. So,
Okay, we should just leave.
Hold on. Yeah, please leave. Please leave. Please leave. Just.
Okay. Just. Thank you, Godric. I am here with Miss Janie Woods, longtime searcher of love and belonging and the little flames hidden inside of clay, who has had a very interesting experience with the hurricane we covered a few months ago. Welcome, Janie.